In a previous episode, we looked at structured outputs, where we could get a language model to respond in a shape that our application understands. But there's still a hard limit. The model only knows what it is trained on. Ask it about the data in your database without providing it in the context, and it'll happily make something up. In this episode, we're flipping the direction. Instead of our application asking the model for information, we're going to let the model ask our application. This is called function calling or tool use, and it's the foundation for building any kind of AI assistant or agent on top of your Rails application. And so here's the idea. We describe a function to the model, just the name, description, and what arguments it takes. When a question comes in that the model can answer on its own, it doesn't guess, it responds asking us to run that function. Our application runs a normal active record query and sends a result back as plain text, and the model uses it to answer the question. And the important part is that the model never touches our database. It can only ask, and our application describes what it's allowed to see. And so in this episode, we're going to build a small inventory assistant for a bike shop, and we'll start by asking it questions with no tools, and we can ask things like, what kind of helmets are in stock? And it'll make the AI request, and then we'll get a response. And so the kids' helmets are out of stock. And so let's ask what helmets are out of stock. And we get the response, the only helmet that is out of stock is the kid's helmet. And so to get started, we'll add the gem ruby-openai. And we are going to be using openai for this. And then we can edit our credentials with the bin rails credentials:edit. And we're going to make the key openai and a child key access_token. And you'll have to go to OpenAI to retrieve this. But once you do, you can save and close the file, and we can then consume it. So I'm going to touch the config initializers in the openai.rb, just so we can configure the OpenAI gem. And because we are going to be using the OpenAI API, we're not going to need a lot of the normal configuration. We'll just set the access token, and we'll set that equal to our Rails application credentials, and we can dig through the OpenAI, and we can get the access_token. And then we can generate a model for our products, and we'll just have a name and a stock, which we'll make an integer. And in the seeds file, we'll just generate a few different products, just so we have some data to work with. And we're also going to need a controller. Let's just call it the assistants, and we'll have a index action, which is where we'll have our form. And in the config routes, we'll set that to our root path, and we'll have a resources for the assistants, and we'll only need the index and also the create action. Because our form will make a post to the assistants controller's create action, and then we'll just render the index. So in the assistants controller, we'll have our create action, and let's set an instance variable question is equal to, and we'll get from the params the question. We'll then get some kind of answer, and we need to make a model for this. So let's create an assistant model, and we'll just have a new instance of that, and then an instance method ask, and then we can pass in the question. We'll then render the index page, and with a status see other, just because we're making a turbo request as a post, so we wanted to properly render the index page. And within the view, we have a form width. We'll pass in the URL to the assistants_path. We'll make the method a post. And let's give it some class with a margin top of 6, flex, gap, and 2. We'll create a block for the form. And then we can have our form with a text field. It will be a question. If we already have a question, then we can go ahead and set that value to the instance variable of the question. And we can have a placeholder if you want, like how many road helmets do we have? And then we can give this some class, just to make it look a bit nicer. We can then check if we have an answer. Then within a div with some styling, we can just display that answer. You may want to do something a bit more, but this is just so we can get the general idea of the response. In our models, we're going to create a new file, and we'll call it the assistant.rb. We'll have our class assistant, and we'll initialize. And when we initialize it, we'll set the client instance variable is equal to the OpenAI : client.new. We also need the ask instance method because that's what we're using in the controller, and we'll have our question. And to answer the question, we can call the client.chat and we'll pass in some parameters like the model. And for this, I'm going to use the GPT 4o mini just because it's cheap. We can also have some messages, and we can also pass in some kind of tools. But I want to move this down into its own private method, and we'll just call it chat. And we'll then take in some messages just to keep this a bit cleaner. And so for the messages, let's go ahead and define what that is. We'll have our messages, and we'll set this equal to an array of hashes. So we'll have first the system prompt, and we'll make this a constant. And then we'll have a role for our user. And for that content, we'll just pass in the question. So for this, we'll make a here doc, and we'll say something like always use the check inventory tool to answer questions about products. So we'll need to define what this check inventory tool is. And so we'll ask it to answer questions about the products and stock levels, and then we'll specify only discuss the products that the tool returns. So we're going to pass these messages, which in Ruby 3.1 and later, you don't have to pass in the messages variable simply because that'll be inferred because of the parameter and that local variable defined. But I like having it in there just to be a bit more explicit. And then when we call the client chat, we can also pass in the tools. And this again will be another constant. So we can create an array of different tools. It will be a list of hashes. And for the type, we need to declare the function. For the function, it'll be a hash with a name. And we'll call this the check underscore inventory. We can pass in a description. And we'll just say search the store's products by name and return the matching products with their stock level. Use broad term like helmet to list all helmets. And then we can pass in the parameters. That's going to be a type of an object with the properties. We'll have the product underscore name, and that'll be a type of string. And then we can set the required, and we'll require the product underscore name. And so to run through this again, after we initialize and ask the question, we'll then get some kind of response from the chat. And we can just set this as equal to the message, and we'll have our chat messages. We can dig through to get the choices. We'll grab the first item and then the message. We can then set a tool call is equal to our message, and we can dig through to see if there's any tool calls. And we'll grab the first instance. And if there is, so we'll do a if tool underscore call. Then we can set our messages and we can inject in the message. For the messages, we can also inject in. Let's create another function called the tool result, and we'll pass in that tool call. We'll then make another request, getting that message. And notice we're overriding the message variable. And that's because if there was no need to call the tool, making another API request, then we need to get our content. So we're just keeping this format the same. So we can pass back at the end the message, and we'll get the content. So we need to define what this tool result is. And we can set our arguments as equal to the json.parse. We'll take in that tool call, and we can dig through to get something like the function and the argument. We can then set the products is equal to the product where, and we'll do a query where the name is like. You may want to do an I like for a case insensitive search. And then we can interpolate in searching on the left and right, or we'll pass in the arguments, and then we can get the product underscore name. And so this product name does refer back up to the tool call and what that is going to return. And so it should just be a product name like helmet or tire. We can then return on the tool result a hash. We'll call it the role, and it'll be a tool. The tool call ID is going to be the tool call, and we'll pass in the ID. And for the content, we can check if there's any products. So the products.any. And if there is, then we can do a products.map, and we'll just map through each one of the products. And let's just interpolate in the name, then also the quantity or the stock. And we'll join this with new line characters, or we'll just say not found. And so again, that tool result will be passed back into the messages, and we'll make another request. and then finally display the content. On the assistance controller, that answer should now be some text, and we'll render the index page again. And now that we have an answer instance variable set with some content, we'll then display it. And so to test this out, we'll run the binrails db migrate to migrate our database. We can run the binrails db seed to seed it. And then we can run bindev to start up the Rails application. Oh, and one thing I forgot to do on the form is to just have a submit button. But now we can test this out. So we can say, what helmets are in stock? We ask the question, and then we get the result. We have the road helmet, the mountain helmet, and the kids helmet is out of stock. We can also say, what tires do we carry? Again, this will make a couple of requests, and then we get our result. There's road tires, gravel tires, and mountain tires. So we can say how many mountain tires are in stock, and then we get the response. There's 25 mountain tires in stock. And so overall, this is a very simple use case, but it can be very powerful in chaining in multiple tools and calling additional functions. For example, this doesn't have to be a function for just checking data within your own application. If you wanted to, you can create other functions like check weather. And for example, for this tool call, if we look at it, we get some kind of ID for it. We see it's a function. And for that function name, we can see that it wants to call the check inventory. So based on this, you could also have one for the check weather and then dig through this hash on the function name to see if it's check inventory or check weather. Then depending on that, instead of calling the tool result, you would give it a bit more of a specific name like inventory checker or weather checker, where you can then perform different functions. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. For more videos, check out driftandruby.com.